like it's Saturday. It is nice.
We start? Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for attending the presentation. So our presentation is about deep power. Deep power is just the name that we have recently invented for our simulation of decentralized power system. So we have been discussing together. I mean, this is Laurent, and I am Vincent there. And we have been discussing this idea of trying to understand how a decentralized power system could work. And then the story is that we have found the call for paper for this conference, which was explicitly requesting some paper in that direction. And then we decided, especially for that occasion, to build a simulation network and to study what such a system is and how it could work in practice. So this presentation is about this experiment, and Laurent will introduce you the content.
So, do you hear me? Okay. I'll guide you through the agenda of our talk. So first, I'll give a short introduction word of the whole context. Why do we need these concepts? Why have we thought about it? Then we'll go into the subject directly by talking to you about, okay, what's the objective? What do we really want to represent? We'll go through a more technical chapter, which is the simulation setup and the implementation. What do we exactly simulate and how do we implement it? Then we have prepared 3 case studies to show you the reaction of the power system under different conditions, thanks to our simulator. And then we will conclude on a short word and tell you about what we think further research could be. So let's start with the first chapter with an overall introduction. And I will start with this question. Is today the last day of our energy wasting behavior? I guess everybody of yours is aware that our world has a very big issue. We will very soon run out of fossil fuels, which is one of the sources which is really fueling our whole economy and our whole society. But let me first start with the first point. You all know also, I'm very sure, about climate change. Sorry? You all know, I was sure about that. So, climate change, I won't talk very long about it, but the point is that humans are so many on this world, and our standard of living are so high now that we are emitting, we're polluting this whole world, including with CO2. This will lead to climate warming, and this will lead to probably major disasters, diseases, etc. You all know that the international community, all the states are starting to react, but it is a huge challenge. So this is one of the points of the context which is really important to understand, that on this side things will change. There is on another side things which are maybe not for tomorrow, but for actually pretty soon. Fossil fuels are not forever. We are really using this planet at a very fast speed for the moment. Some figures of what I found on the internet, and I know there are a lot of talks about it, but people believe that oil resources will be over in 20 to 50 years. Gas resources in 50 to 80 years. Coal, a bit more, but still only 100 to 150. And uranium, which is fueling our nuclear power plants, maybe 30 to 60 years. So now this is not tomorrow, but this is, 1 or 2 generations. So we will probably still be alive when the first effect of this will really hit us very strongly. And one of the things I heard very recently is this quote from the chief economist of the International Energy Agency, who believes that global oil production is likely to peak in about 10 years. So can you imagine 10 years? It's actually very soon. So the aspect we are going to focus in this speech is power system. So power is one of the big CO2 emitters, and we will try to find one of the solutions which can actually help to resolve these problems. The key constraints of future power systems, first, fuel prices will be very high. In the future, due to CO2 taxes or due to fuel constraints, prices will be high. So we will have to go more and more into renewables. Problem of renewables is that a lot of them are actually uncontrollable or unpredictable. When there is wind, we have electricity. When there is no wind, what do? Big constraints. And actually, I'm sure all of you know about it, but in a power system, all the electricity consumed has at all times, every second, has to be injected into the system. So when there is no wind, what do? That's actually the whole point of this discussion and of the simulator we have built. Now, the simulator we have built, it's actually simulating what is called now a smart grid. What is a smart grid? Well, let me first talk to you about a traditional grid. In a traditional grid, it's actually from the production side that the balance between injection and production is reached. The consumption, you and me, we don't care if there is wind or no wind, if the electricity is expensive at that time or not. We just consume. And the producers have to adapt. On a smart grid, the things get a little bit more evolved. There, people and consumers are encouraged to participate to this balance. They will receive a signal that will tell them now it's cheap to consume or now it's expensive to consume. You could imagine different level of consumption behaviors. The most simple one is a kind of night and day tariff. Those of you who have that kind of tariff, you know that you're encouraged to consume more during the night versus during the day, because it's easier, there is less demand during the day. And there is the other extreme, which would be a kind of fully automatic communication system between all the sources and all the productions. So imagine a village or a system where every load, before consuming, is actually giving a bid, asking, I want to consume, and the source saying, I want to produce, and the system will actually reach this balance by this way. And this is actually what we want to simulate, to see how it works and to see what are the limits of this system. We're talking to you about smart grids, but it's not our invention.